So it's just occurred to me that it's been 10 years since Ghana played Germany in that thrilling 2-2 draw at the Arena Castelao in Fortaleza, Brazil 2014, 21st of June 2014. And it was 7 p.m., that's 1900 GMT in Accra, Ghana. And those who were in Brazil at that time, it was 4 p.m., a very humid afternoon there in Brazil, a very, very cold evening here in Ghana. The stage was set in northern Brazil, Fortaleza. What a game. There is a reason I'm taking time to go through this game or recap, because it was described by FIFA Technical Study Group as the most thrilling game of the 2014 World Cup. And this report was headed by Gerard Houllier, the former French manager who led Liverpool. So many pundits and connoisseurs of the game have also alluded to the fact that the Ghana versus Germany game of Brazil 2014 was the most crucial, the most exciting, the most thrilling, and one of the best games of the World Cup. And of course, in 2014, it ranked by many as the best game of the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Let's take a recap. I'm sure some of you will remember some of the key incidents of the game. So the match was played in Fortaleza, northern Brazil. The stage was set, Germany versus Ghana. Ghana came into this game having lost 2-1 to US. They had been our perennial rivals at the World Cup. We met them in 2006. We beat them by 2-1. We beat them in friendly games. We met again in 2010 World Cup at the round of 16. We beat them again. And so it was very crucial meeting them for the third time at the World Cup. The United States came at top at the end of this game. So Ghana had lost going into the game. Germany had also thumped Portugal by 4-0. Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal had lost to Germany by 4 goals. And so the Germans were a very fearful side coming into the game. The lineup was also very decisive in this game because Germany started with the same team that played against Portugal and won by 4-0. Manuel Neuer was imposed. Benedict Haverdes, Matt Hummels, Per Mertesacker, Jerome Boateng, Sami Khedira, Philipp Lahm, Toni Kroos, Mario Götze, Mesut Ozil, and Thomas Müller. Somebody will say, what a team. This was the German starting 11 against Ghana in Fortaleza. And the mention of the names of these players was even going to send shivers down the spine of Ghanaians. Samekase match na enye hua na meboa. Having watched the Germans beat Portugal 4-0 with Pepe being sent off in the 73rd minute, Ronaldo completely shattered as a captain, meeting a Ghanaian side that had lost to USA by a late goal, and so much confusion surrounding the Ghana team. Everybody thought that was going to be the last participation of the Black Stars in the tournament. That was going to be practically our last game. But the Black Stars also had a very exciting lineup coming into this game. After the defeat to USA, there was some controversy regarding the goalkeeping department. So Coach Kwesi Appiah came into the game substituting Adam Kwarase, who had been very brilliant in the friendly matches prior to the World Cup, and brought in Fatau Dauda. It would only take a very dodgy situation and a very difficult decision making for a coach to change a goalkeeper after the first game in a World Cup. So Ghana came into this game having changed the goalkeeper Adam Kwarase under very bizarre circumstances as it then was, and brought in Fatau Dauda. Kojo Asamoah started at the left back in this game, surprisingly. John Boy started in central defense. Jonathan Mensah as his partner. Harrison Afo rather played at the left back. switched with Kwadwo Asamoah a couple of times. Rabiu Mohammed started this game. Sule Muntari was also part of the starting 11. Andre Ayew, Kevin Prince Boateng, Christian Achu of blessed memory, and Asamoah Gyan. This was Ghana's team for the game. Then, the two coaches coming into the game, Kwesi Appiah was under pressure after the press conference which ensued after the game or following the game between USA and Ghana, which Ghana lost. Kwesi Appiah was heard to have said he kept Michael Essien and Kevin Prince Boateng on the bench because he thought that the young guys had the energy to match the Americans, and so when they got tired or fatigued, then he will bring in the likes of Essien and Kevin Prince Boateng to stabilize the team. This didn't go down well with a couple of the media people in the press room and also back in Ghana. So there was a whole lot of pressure on Kwesi Appiah to deliver. So there were one or two changes in the team, and also for coach Joachim Low, no pressure at all, having defeated Portugal by 4-0. So some of the key points in the game, as I recount, were the tactical formation of the two teams, how the two teams deployed their men on the field. So at the end of this video, you are going to learn why Joachim Low had to change his formation going into the World Cup in order to be able to get to the final. He was tested by this Ghana team. So he played Manuel Neuer and then two center backs. So it was a 4-3-2-1 tactic that he had started with Müller in front. But then after the Ghana game, a lot of things will change with the German team. So we will be seeing that going forward. So that was the tactical deployment of the two coaches on the field of play. Gyan in attack, Achu on the right wing, and also Andre Ayew on the left wing for Ghana, with Kwadwo Asamoah, the left back, and Harrison Afful as a right back. But one of the key talking points of the game was the second clash of the Boateng brothers. Jerome Boateng meeting Kevin Prince Boateng in the World Cup. And ahead of that game, the whole talks in Germany was about the Boateng brothers coming face to face again in a World Cup game, and this time around, who was going to take the day or carry the day. Before this game, the Black Stars had played Germans only twice. Remember the Bochum disaster where they defeated the Black Stars, but I think 6-1, and also the 2010 World Cup where they defeated the Black Stars by 1-0 in South Africa. So this was the third encounter and the second for the Boateng brothers. So Jerome Boateng here with Kevin Prince Boateng, and on the field of play, that was one of the key talking points going into the game. Another talking point was the substitution or the change of Ghana's goalkeeper. These were the three goalkeepers. Aduana Stars had won the league in Ghana, and they had a very strong team going into the World Cup. Stephen Adams was part of the local Black Stars team, so he was a local goalkeeper who was pushed into the team. Fatau Dauda, and of course Adam Larsen Kwarase. So these were the three goalkeepers. But after the first game, Fatau Dauda would take over the goalpost for the game. So the game started. Like I said, we lost to USA, and Fatau Dauda came in for Adam Larsen Kwarase, one of the key talking points of the game. So this was the first goal, came in the 53rd minute. Look, the whole of the first half was about the Germans pinning the Black Stars, and the defensive shield that the Black Stars put up to be able to contain the Germans was solid, was praised. The Germans, because of winning against Portugal, were somehow carried away, and they opened up, and it was a fiery pieces of attack and missiles from all angles. But Ghana contained the Germans, and very compact at the back. Thanks to John Boy. I'll come back to the player ratings, but before I even come there, John Boy was the man of the match of the game. But this was the first goal, across to the ball to Thomas Müller, and instead of heading the ball, he got the ball with his head, but mistakenly the ball came down to his knee and misdirected into the net. So it was a mistaken goal, which also took the goalkeeper by mistake. which is more reason why the ball got into the net in the first place, because the header was very feeble. But at the end of the day, goalkeeper Fatau Dauda was beaten because the ball hit the head of Thomas Müller before it bounced mistakenly and misdirected into the net for Germany's first goal. But then the Black Stars, after this, came very seriously. So this was the first goal. The second goal was when Andre Ayew went into the sky above 3 German defenders and headed the ball. I think it was from Harrisona for a very brilliant cross for Andre Ayew to not home beyond the reach of goalkeeper Manuel Neuer for the equalizer. And this is when the description started. So let me read the pieces of what the game was described. After Andre Ayew's goal, this was what the pundits wrote in the technical report. It says, taking the lead changed Germany's mindsets. Sloppiness immediately crept into their game, and it provoked the Africans into a frenzied and thrilling response. The moment Andre Ayew's towering header hit the net, only 3 minutes after going behind, the Ghanaians spent the remaining 35 minutes playing like men possessed. So you can imagine, the goal was scored in the 53rd minute. Andre's equalizer came 3 minutes later, the first goal by the Germans. And the technical match report is saying that after the goal was scored, the equalizer, around the 56th minute, the next 35 minutes, so the entire half is 45. But the report says the next 35, it means that the first 10 minutes were used in scoring goals. Germany scored and Ghana equalized. But the next 35 minutes resulted in the Black Stars playing like men who were possessed. Those of you who have not watched the game, watch it. If you have watched it, sit down and watch the replay or full game again. They say playing like men possessed. Germany got rattled. Skipping past Mpe Metasaka, Jordan Ayew was in the clear, and a pass to Asamoah would have certainly seen Ghana's third goal. But hot-headed and dizzy, and putting self-glory first, Ayew's shot was woefully wasteful. He will later regret it. So if you remember, Jordan Ayew had an opportunity, and Asamoah was very well open and on side to score a goal. Jordan could have passed the ball to him, but Jordan decided to shoot, and that was when he came under a lot of flack at the end of the game, because Ghana could have gotten the third goal, and it would have been near impossible for Germany to come back. So this was when Andre Ayew responded. So they say Ghana played the next 35 minutes playing like men who were possessed. Also, Asamoah, from a pass that was laid by Suleiman Tari, got Ghana's second goal. So Ghana came from behind to lead 2-1, and Manuel Neuer was completely beaten. There was a very brilliant goal by Jan. And then, in the dying minutes of the game, there was Miroslav Klose, who was on his way to equal the World Cup scoring record, if you remember. He had 14 goals, and Luis Nazario Dalima had 15. And Miroslav Klose was on tie in second place with Gerd Müller of Germany on 14 goals in the World Cup. So it was an opportunity for him to get on the score sheet and equal Ronaldo's scoring record and also set his own record. So this was a game that Miroslav Klose equaled the World Cup scoring record, scoring his 15th goal against Fatau Dauda's Ghana. And it was a corner kick which was whipped in, I think, by Thomas Cruz. Was whipped in by Cruz, and Cruz's corner was touched by, I think, Mpe Metasaka. And at the point where the cross was deflected, it got to the end of the pole for Miroslav Klose to tap in. So that was how this goal came about. So Toni Kroos's corner was tapped in by Miroslav Klose for Germany's equalizer to end the game at 2-2. That was a very thrilling encounter. This was the goal at the near end, the way he pounced on the ball. But this celebration was very iconic because he had to do this as he had scored and done this throughout his World Cup career. So in 2002, when Miroslav Klose started scoring at the World Cup, this was the celebration. He did same when he scored in 2006 World Cup, did same when he scored in 2010 World Cup, and this was the opportunity to equal the record. And so in 2014, he also, had to do this again his celebration hasn't been iconic throughout the World Cup period that he scored. So this was the 15th World Cup goal that he had scored. So this was the end of the game. Was 2-2. John Boy was rated 9/10 for the defensive steal he provided for the Black Stars at the back. So it's been 10 years, but this game is still on the tables of FIFA. So let me read another caption from the technical report. It says, and I read, Ghanaian gallantry, while forcing Manuel Neuer into an unexpected amount of action. So Ghana had 20 shots and 8 of them were saved. 20 shots, 8 of them were saved by Manuel Neuer. This was the game that Manuel Neuer has ever made the most saves in a World Cup match. And this was the game where a goalkeeper had made the most saves in a World Cup match of 2014. So you get the point why the game has been billed by FIFA as the best game of the tournament. Manuel Neuer was forced into action 8 times, 20 shots by the Ghanaians. Ghana only kept themselves in the World Cup thanks to 5 or 6 heroic pieces of defending. So it was an end-to-end encounter. It wasn't only the Ghanaians having a go at the Germans. Germany also had some near opportunities, and 6 or 7 of them were blocked or saved by the Ghanaian defense and the goalkeepers. But Kwadwo Asamoah's 84th minute contribution was something special. Sprinting across, the Juventus fullback lunged at full stretch to thwart Muller with only Fatau Dauda to beat. Just as he pulled the trigger, it was the tackle of the tournament. Kwadwo Asamoah raced over 60 meters chasing Thomas Muller. Muller had only Fatau Dauda to beat. And nobody knows where Kwadwo Asamoah came from after Ghana's attack. All the defenders had moved into Germany's area wanting to score the winning goal. And Germany had a counter-attack, sent the ball to Thomas Muller. And with only Fatau Dauda to beat and about to pull the trigger, Thomas Muller found out that Kwadwo Asamoah had stretched to his elastic limit and blocked the shot away or cleared the ball. And this is what the technical report of FIFA says. It was the tackle of the tournament. Can you imagine? This was a very interesting game. So they say that, look, at the end of the game, this is how it was described. In oppressive humidity, talking about how hot the afternoon was in northern Brazil for Fortaleza. In oppressive humidity, both teams ran themselves into the ground in northern Brazil. Not an ounce of energy was left on the pitch as 22 wrecked bodies slumped to the floor at the final whistle. Their human endeavor was a sporting triumph. This is how the game was described. That at the end of the 90 minutes, all the players were extremely tired. That when the referee blew his whistle, they all slammed to the ground, panting for breath. Not Ghana. Ghana and Germany, all the 22 players were panting for breath because the game was exhilarating and excruciating. It was energy sapping, exacerbating. It was too hot, but the Ghanaians ran across the field. The Germans also put up the best performance of the tournament. At the end of this game, a lot of tabloids in Germany said they had no capacity to win the World Cup if their defense can be split up like this by African team. So this is when Joachim Low changed his formation and decided to play with a bit of steel at the back, provided some defensive cover for the central defenders of Per Mertesacker and Benedict Hawedes and Matt Hummels. So at the end of the day, they provided some defensive shield. So it was this, Ghanaian game that brought about the caution or word of caution to Germany that they were not a team at the top. Even though they had beaten Portugal by 4, Ghana opened them up. 20 shots. Goalkeeper saving 8, some of them being blocked on the line. How can you ask for a good game than this at the World Cup? So it was Michael Essien who was at the end of the game, meeting and embracing Andre Ayew for a good job done. Andre was rated 8 over 10 in that game at the end of the tournament. But more crucially and significantly, these two teams who played the best game of the 2014 World Cup, one of them will go on to win the ultimate. Germany went on routing and thrashing opponents, including host nation Brazil, by 7-1. They had scored 5 in the first half. The other team ended up humiliatingly and embarrassingly carrying money. It was after this game that Ghana transported $3 million to Brazil and brought ignominy, global shame to the country. So the 2014 World Cup between Ghana and Germany was rated the best game of the tournament by a lot of pundits and the FIFA technical study group. This game was mentioned over 20 times in the technical study group in areas of attack. And I want to read another portion by some of the pundits of the game and how they described it. They say Ghana's athleticism was brought to bear in this game as they went into the game pushing beyond their limits and played like an African team. Ghana played like a typical African team, bringing to bear the athleticism, the sheer power, the brilliance, the skill, and the energy. At the end of the day, it was a 2-2 draw, putting that game as one of the best in the tournament. Sule Muntari was very, very crucial in this game, as well as Andre Ayew, Kojo Asamoah, Christian Atsu of blessed memory, and all the guys. So this was where this celebration was made when Asamoah Gyan scored Ghana's second goal in the game. So Ghana versus Germany was rated the best game, and it's been 10 years since that game was played. A game that proved that with good and sound management, with professionalism, a bit of professionalism attached, and the application of common sense, the Ghanaian have talents that could have gone beyond the group stage elimination. But alas, we came home. The talent was abound. The game was described as one of the best. How then could we have not maintained the momentum to go, progress in the tournament when Germany themselves, a team that was, that feared the Black Stars, a team that was only stopped by the Ghanaians. No team could stop them on the way. What happened? So the talent is there, the energy is there, the athleticism is there, slept with management and professionalism. The best game of Brazil 2014 World Cup, Ghana versus Germany, 10 years. Where were you? And what are your comments? What did you pick from this game? And what do you remember about the game? This is a recollection. I woke up and felt that this is a game that we must revisit and see what the Ghanaian is made of in terms of football and how we can harness the true quality and maximize our potential and build on going forward there. So this is the Brazil 2014 World Cup, a recap of what we were and what could have happened with a bit of professionalism attached to our play. Thank you very much for watching. 10 years ago, where were you? How do you remember this game? What were the key points you picked? Where did you watch the game? If you can share with us in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching.